Okay, let's continue here. Final little bit of using the import column here is, let's close out of this. We've got our row count no longer necessary here. We don't have to have it. We now need to use the import column to convert that file to binary. This is the tricky part. I know the last two videos took us a while to get to them, but this is actually the tricky part. If you don't do step one correctly, the script component as a source, step two is pretty much impossible. So now coming to step two, you want to import column. So what we need to path in right here, let's just put this here, the input column is the column that contain the path to the file that you want converted to binary. So which of these columns here contain the value that's the path to the file, path to file? We don't want to bring in track title. Track title is just going to be passed directly from the script component to the destination. The import column transform has nothing to do with that one, but we want the path to file. So we choose path to file. You're going to call it output of path to file. Okay, that's like step one. Step number two will have you pulling your hair out. So the input column here maps up with what came out of your script component. Now you need to now map and create a new output column. So the MP3 file, this is the binary file. So this is the actual value. This is something like C:\MP3s/Samson.mp3. That's what that value is. The output file, though, is binary, X08, blah, 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 some kind of a binary value. So what you've got to do over here, you've got to come down to your output column. It is of a type DT image by default. If you try to change it to be something like an R4, you're going to get a property name is invalid. There's only a couple of different data types you can use. You want to convert a file and load it into the database. You do so with the DT image here. What you need to know is this lineage ID. That is the identifier in this particular task for this output column. You need to now take that number, 65, to the input column path to file. You need to scroll down and you need to say the file data column is 65. Whew, that's tough. Okay, so the output column has a lineage ID. You need to know what that lineage ID is. Then you go to the input column and you're saying that this actual file is going to be placed into the output column, the MP3 file. And that's it. Once you have done that, now I would put in a dummy over here, a little faux destination. Add myself a data viewer. Make sure that I've got it now because I want you to see what's going to happen. Now, previously we had 2 columns in the output. Now we have 3. These 2 came from the script, and then this guy comes from our import column. And you can see that it is a long text. It's actually converted it to binary, but the data viewer doesn't show you that. Sweet. So you have used the import column to add a new column in the data flow. That's what you needed to do. Now, the final step. Coming back to our SQL server, remember we only have 2 columns, title and MP3. MP3 is a var binary max. That's the data type you use to store files. Come back over here, kill your row count, and bring in a destination. I want this to go to a SQL server. Make myself a connection manager. I'll connect to the scottwiggum.com database. And we'll load up the table track. And check out the mappings here. The input columns are all the columns that we could use. We want to bring in the track title to the title and the MP3 file to MP3. We are completely ignoring a couple of columns. So we're ignoring the path to the file. We're just using the path to the file column so that we could tell the import column transform where the file was located, that it could actually convert to binary. Then we're ignoring the track ID because it's an identity column and it will automatically be populated. And so let's just run the whole thing now. Ran successfully. We can come over here, take a look at the track table. And that's exactly what it's done. That's the binary version of the MP3 file. It has converted it to binary, stored it into a database. Now we could use ASP.NET or a web service or something else to convert that back into a file-based media and stream that through a website. Now, I wouldn't really advise you do that. I'd really advise you stream them from a file, but we could do that. Okay? I'm going to stop here. We're going to come back in the next video and we're going to do the opposite. We're going to take the data in a table and I'm going to show you how you can export that data out to files. So I'll see you in the next video.